Hello and welcome, all you wonderful Tubi Dicers. It's your boy, Daddy Tarzan, and we are back in live with you once again with Star Wars Edge of the... not Edge of the Empire. Force and Destiny, Session 0. And with me, as always, is the wonderful cast and crew of Tubi Dice Adventures, ready to kick off the next chapter in our adventure. That being said, let's go ahead and take a quick little introduction of our cast for tonight's episode of Session 0, starting off with the lovely Dove. Dia, take the floor.
Guys. I'm Dia, also known as DiaBelle.cos on all social media. I play as a Bracky bounty hunter known as Dove, and we'll be continuing with her throughout the next season, as far as she lasts. We'll see how that goes.
And up next, the resident pilot who concluded Campaign 1's adventure, Chav Visto.
Yeah, that's me. My name's Matt, also known as War-Torn Knight out there on the interwebs. During Campaign 1, you all would have seen me, especially during the finale, cementing my title as the best pilot in the galaxy. Chav Visto, the Nothawin pilot, smuggler, formerly Agent Lancer of the ISB, hashtag fuck you, Kilble. Legitimately went toe-to-toe with an Asserter class control dreadnought and would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids in RPG sessions having some weird crit rules. As far as we can tell, I'm going to use the terms maining Chav for Season 2, bringing the Destiny in Force and Destiny, because your boy is not Force sensitive, and potentially also filling in some gaps for narrative purposes as somebody's seen only one time previously on screen, XU24A0, also known as just XU the loader droid. Over to you. Who's next on the screen? Ozymandias.
Did we lose Oz? Osmodius? Oh. Pause while we deal with technical issues.
Can you hear me now?
Indubitably.
Fantastic. With a little bit of lag, but that's the kind of spice we like around here. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Oz, otherwise known as Son of a Ghost on all the interwebs. Also, in this campaign, also known as the man who has so many freaking enemies everywhere. Somehow, every single planet has an enemy. Yes, it is Rolf. Otherwise known as Farrell Ogesh, one half of the not twin brothers per se, but honestly, the amount of shenanigans and shite they get up to, you might as well call them twin brothers. Who knows? The Mudhorn brothers, ex-con, ex-assassin, everything, because they've had their hand in everything. Yeah, I'll be playing this man. For the rest of the campaign, hopefully, until he dies, because I put too much time and effort into this backstory. So, Raw will be rejoining the table.
Wonderful. And then finally, to round out tonight's cast, maybe, is going to be Kesh, played by Jay down there on the bottom row. We may be joined by Victor later. We'll let you know. But Jay, go ahead and take the floor.
Hi guys, I think this is the first for me to be in Session 0 in Season 2 because I've been in and out all the time. But yes, my name is Jay. Hopefully, for the remainder of this season, we'll come back as Kesh, the Chiss agent. Maybe, and hopefully main him. I might do cameos if asked. But for now, I am playing the I guess, rapidly became a member of the crew and literally went, nah, this is my crew now. And after losing his entire rebel force and fleet, thank you, Tarzan, he's got nowhere else to go. But just happy to be back.
Yeah. Big consequences took place at the end of Campaign 1. For those of you that are joining us for the first time ever, Campaign 1 consisted of a what would you call it? A employment by blackmail, I guess, would be the most simplistic way of putting it. Via or through the ISB, an agent or individual known as Killbolt, a representative of the ISB, made initial contact with the party and incentivized them to help him with a mission. That mission being de-seating the Emperor from the throne. Obviously, this is a very controversial mission and one that would have to be done off the books. Therefore, Core Atlas had to maintain a level of anonymity to be successful in getting close to assist in dethroning the Emperor. Along the way, weren't so successful in maintaining their anonymity, but luckily for
the most anonymous rebels ever, plastered all over newscasts from Bespin all the way to Coruscant.
it was a bit chaotic, but they kept Killbolt's hands full in an effort to maintain their etherealness in the HoloNet. One way of keeping the party on task for the mission, Killbolt dangled a carrot, that being the former trainer and instructor of Chavisto's Flight Academy during his attempt to become a Imperial pilot in the Imperial Armed Forces. Admiral Tazen, forgot his name for a second, was staging a siege over the world of Nothwin, Chavisto's home planet, and put out before Chav a task to recruit rebels to his cause and break the siege of Nothwin. And some plot points were discovered. One surgically planted plot point, and several others. And eventually, the party was successful in subverting the GM's sidetracks and whatnot, and successfully destroyed the blockade of Nothwin in completing Campaign 1. It was a lot of fun, and unfortunately, the end of Campaign 1 ended on a very dark note, but that's why there's a continuation. That pretty much brings you up to speed as to what we were up to last campaign. Where the rest of this campaign goes is to be diced. Project for Michael. Gotta get a new intro. I think we'll just go with Star Wars TTRPG to be able to encompass all three next time. Thank you for joining us, all you wonderful 2B Dicers, for tonight's episode of Session 0. We got to get you up to speed to what we're doing here and now in tonight's episode is we're going to go over what we've all discussed behind the scenes, which is how do we progress forward without, having a entire encyclopedia of talents and skills accumulated under these characters with massive experience points pooled up. I kind of decided to go with the respec route to make my job a little easier to deal with these guys. And what I mean by respec is I had all player characters reset their experience points back down to 0. However, they do get a permanent +1 to their characteristics. They get to maintain all of their accumulated trees that they've have gotten so far. So they don't have to rebuy talent trees, but all their talents have been reset back to 0. And on top of all those extra goodies, they get an additional 150 XP after character creation to start themselves off with night level gameplay at the start of campaign 2. Because these guys aren't beginner adventurers. These guys are established characters that have been actively working throughout the galaxy. So we didn't want to. It didn't make sense to make them completely noob characters with the same skin. So that was the route we ended up taking. So they don't have to buy the talent trees that they've already gotten, which is awesome. All they have to do is just repurchase all the skills and talents that they want. However, they now have a more flexible way of going about getting the abilities, talents, and characteristics that they want to get with this respec. So it's going to create a little more of a interesting dynamic for me to deal with, because now they have more of a framework to a precise framework to work with, because now they know what to look for to make their characters even more effective, and remove any extra frills that they bought last campaign that they didn't really get to use, and so on. So, that being said, let's go ahead and start off with the premise of Campaign 2. Campaign 2 is going to continue the story of Core Atlas. However, this setting will take place potentially 1 to 2 weeks after the events of the Battle of Nothwin, picking up and past the events that took place on the Nothwin Chimera. There is still no revelation as to what took place as of yet, but this arc will explore the brothers' history, connecting them to Dathomir and potentially putting them on track to cross paths with certain NPCs that they've encountered before, and dealing with the ramifications of the events that took place last campaign. This group no longer benefits from the protections that the ISB afforded them. And what does that necessarily mean for the group? We have yet to discover. But this will focus more on the morality of the group, which brings me to the next topic to discuss with the party. That, since I have the majority of you here, we can morality. We can either all switch over to that mechanic, or we can have the brothers stick to take the morality mechanic, and the rest of the group stick to either obligation or duty. Morality is more centralized around force-sensitive individuals, so not everyone has to take on the morality mechanic. But I do want the brothers, at minimum, the brothers on the morality mechanic. Dove has force sensitivity, However, she doesn't really operate in that scale. So I'm going to leave that choice up to you, Dia, as to whether or not you're going to take on the morality mechanic as well. What is everybody else's thoughts? Are we all going to take on morality, or are we going to stick to the mechanics that we've gone with last campaign?
We had a good chat about this, myself, Oz, and Victor, in regards to the Deathmarians. Essentially, Dove will likely go with the morality route, especially as we continue to explore the planet and the possible outcome of that venture. It would make more sense in this way, especially since her main obligation now has a secondary carer. We'll see how effective, but she is slightly less concerned when she's got her own things to deal with.
Fair enough. How about you, Chav?
Also, to add,
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead.
hey, Chad's got something. I was just gonna say that because we're going into the next compendium, which is Force and Destiny, and if morality is directly tied to the Force, it would make more sense if everyone's on the same page rather than just a couple people, because the Force affects all characters. So whether they're Force sensitive or not, it affects them all in some facet. And just how Daggerheart operates with their light and dark tokens and stuff, like we operate kind of the same way. So I think it just kind of fits better with this next branch of our arc of the story.
I got you. All right, Chav.
So, I have a very unique perspective, both in game and out of game, as to this decision. Number one, with morality, very much so being focused on the Force. Chav, notably, not being a Force sensitive individual. Looking into what it does mechanically, which we did talk about a little bit previously, like pretty much regardless of what Chav does, it's not really going to affect him or his surroundings too much. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to using it if we want to just streamline things. However, above the table, I do have a unique situation being my work schedule. So, anybody who tuned into the latter part of season one would know that I would be playing with the group for probably about a month at a time, and then I would be MIA for about a month at a time. With that, I do believe that it would probably make more sense from a narrative standpoint for Chav, even if he's the only one still using it, to use obligation. Because this could very much so be a reason, whether or not we're actually using it to roll for it and see, or if Tarzan and I agreed, hey, something came up, Chav has to go off world. So that explains why Matt's not here for a little bit. I did a lot of looking into potentially playing a character who could be more like, I'm in the game and I'm out of the game. And for this setting, it's not really something that's super easy for me to do. So with that, it's more so like I would like to keep playing Chav. And then after talking with Tarzan, probably keeping XU as an option as well. Like if it doesn't make sense, you guys are balls deep on Korriban, Chav can't necessarily show up, but if XU was with you guys as just a droid companion doing some heavy lifting, I could play as XU for a session or two until you guys make it back to where Chav is. So, morality, I'll leave it for Chav up to GM discretion and the rest of the party, but I do believe that Chav should have obligation, and we might get into what I believe those obligations might be in campaign 2.
Yeah, buddy. All right, and Cash, what were you? What was our? What are we thinking?
Well, I like the idea of morality. I do like the idea of that. I do like the idea, and I do agree that everyone, if everyone needs to use it for the new compendium, then that is, a way to go. Kesh still has his strong obligation to the Chiss ascendancy because of, he was raised in it. But narratively, I like the idea of him struggling morally because he's basically being a double life
Right.
now, being with Corallis and still trying to work with the Chiss ascendancy and keep them under wraps while being in a tight ship with a crew of a ragtag bunch of adventurers, and him going, yeah, but I still got things to so it might bring up some narrative and thematic moral questions.
What do you mean, double agent? I thought that he was just calling his mom.
Totally. But I would, because looking at the mechanic, a non-force user can still utilize the morality component. It's just not as involved.
Yeah.
So I would find it quite interesting to see how it works and to see how it plays out.
Yeah. So the way morality is supposed to work, it determines on your ability to. It helps. What's the word I'm looking for? Triggering. So you're supposed to roll your morality against your conflict points, whatever you generate, and if the amount of conflict points that you generate is greater than your morality, then you go up in conflict, or not. No, you decrease your morality. Basically, your morals weaken the more you corrupt yourself, make corrupt choices. Your morality outweighs the amount of conflict you generated in a session, then you go up in morality. You're supposed to roll a d10 at the end of every session, and if that number of conflict is greater than the number rolled, then you go down in morality. If it's less than the number rolled, you go up in morality. So that's how the mechanic's supposed to work. We could all do morality if that's the choice that the players want. However, we do have mechanics in place to accommodate both morality, obligation, and duty. It's just a matter of preference for the players at that point. What's up, boss?
Real quick, because we all know that I love playing devil's advocate. To put it in perspective for ourselves and the audience, while morality can be a fun tool to play with, we did just spend nearly 2 years learning this whole system, the entire thing, almost until the last couple of sessions. And this mechanic is something that almost kind of sort of takes away our free agency with our characters, because if you go up morality, you have to play a certain way. You go down, same thing. So I mean, it kind of just affects how the person, how your character thinks. So do we want to try to learn yet another new mechanic after having to spend the last 2 years learning what we have so far?
That's leading up to this next segment, which is this is an optional mechanic.
Right.
We didn't utilize the mechanic last campaign due to the fact that we were learning it entirely, all campaign one. So I'm just presenting a new mechanic to utilize, just to add something new to the experience that we've already grown accustomed to. Because but it is optional. If you guys would rather not deal with that, then that's perfectly fine. And on top, to counteract, or not counteract, but like to advocate in the other direction, you're still able to determine your character's choices, and the morality just gives you a baseline of what your character, the direction your character normally operates in. So it gives me a measure of understanding of how, like the basic baseline understanding of how your character behaves in a given situation. So like if you're ever not in a session, I can stick between a measured range if I have to step in as for your character in a scene. So it gives me a little bit more of a honed perspective of your character's choices. But like I said, it's just an optional mechanic that I am just presenting to the party as a means of adding something new that we can experience together.
If I may add to this sort of the way that it kind of made sense to me, morality very similar in usage to alignment in Dungeons and Dragons. Less of a rule for roleplay and more of a guideline.
Yeah.
So if your morality mechanic, your statistic drops, I don't think that necessarily means you must play differently. But this is a show of over time where you were, where you are now, and what you've had to go through, and sort of as a reminder of like, hey, this is something that like the character's been through, and I should probably remember that moving forward. You don't necessarily have to like, well, I had to kill somebody, and now I have to play a super evil guy. Man,
Yeah.
now we're gonna set fires and steal things from people.
It's progressive. It doesn't like drastically change your character by any means. It's just like in warfare, prolonged exposure to war will change you drastically over time, or prolonged exposure to therapy eventually will help rehabilitate you. It's just a progression system, way to grow or revert in a way. But like I said, it's completely up to you guys if we want to use this mechanic, and the progression of morality only goes up by like. I'm not talking to you. I didn't even say anything close to your name. The progression of morality only goes up by 1 to 5 points, so it doesn't make drastic changes out of nowhere unless you just decide to kill an entire temple of younglings. Then it's probably gonna be like, you're evil now. Sorry.
I actually kind of thank you for bringing up that as an example. Going with Order 66 and absolutely laying waste to the Jedi Temple and, younglings and stuff like that. That would definitely signify a very rapid shift of one's morality and should probably come with playing your character differently. But a little nudge this way and that way probably isn't going to in the long run.
Go ahead.
I'm with the same with Matt, that alignment is definitely a guideline. Like, just because say, extreme example, you're chaotically evil. Yeah, I want to kill things to get money, but I also want to work with you guys because this dragon's a big problem. Or lawful, I want to uphold the law. So yeah, morality, because yes, doing light side, you might want to lean towards doing virtuous things, but sometimes doing virtuous and the right thing goes against the status quo. That is the Empire.
Yeah.
Or leaning towards more dark side stuff is because you need to go through that route in order to get something done. But then, much like everything, going down that route, it becomes much easier and a very slippery slope.
And you guys are going to be faced with some hard choices this
Yeah.
campaign too.
So, and also, these mechanics, like you said, the morality is optional, much like obligation is an optional mechanic that we brought in. So, obligation is a guideline as much as morality and duty is. So, it helps inform the character and still gives a lot of leeway to that player agency, and also gives more tools for the GM, the storyteller, to go, oh, but by the way, how's your moral? Does this go against your morals right now?
That being said, if we do go this, go the route of a combination of morality, duty, and obligation, Force sensitive characters will be starting at a morality score of 50. That's mid-level. There's no, so you have time to progress in either direction, however you wish, and then obligation, duty, whatever you guys took on for that. So that will be the only drawback for a combination of morality, duty, and obligation. Otherwise, if we just go with morality, I believe you get to roll for your or not roll, but buy your way up in morality. Groups.
I remember that there was a mechanic for voluntarily lowering it and then getting.
Yes, you get more experience or whatever.
However, I do want to take a moment on morality and explain. We've been talking about losing morality a lot. There's definitely opportunities to gain morality as well.
Absolutely.
So it's not always a pointing downward kind of deal. I know it's a lot easier to fall down than it is to rise up, but I mean, yeah, it's
Okay,
it's
But that being said, that won't be decided immediately tonight, as we still are missing several cast members for the campaign. So this is just something that we're discussing about for the audience. Let's go ahead and progress on through the session. We're going to move on to the next topic, which will be character choices. What we decided to go with, what we spent our starting XP on, and a quick rundown of the reasonings for some of the choices that you took on for the respec. That being said, since Dia's currently away from the camera, let's go ahead and start with you, Matt. Give us a quick rundown of your respec of Chav and the reasoning for some of the choices you made with his respec.
Oh boy, howdy. Alrighty. So, bringing Chav back to 0 was a feat in and of itself.
What was our
during
total
campaign
XP at?
I can't remember the actual thing, and like an idiot, even though I very publicly said I'm going to save Chav's character sheet, make a new one, and that's going to be the one I use for campaign 2. I just edited the same character sheet like an idiot.
Oh no!
I can answer that. It was 3,000. That's how much XP we had by the end of 2 years.
Absolutely not.
It was between 15,000 and 3,000. It was like between that, like it was a big number of XP that we all had accumulated in like.
Listen, Rawl as a character has been on this show, but probably the most amount of times.
Yes.
And I only have 1,600.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1,600, but still, it was a lot. It was a big number.
It was enough experience that when I did explain Chav's build to those people on Reddit, and how much experience he did have, they were like, "Holy crap! How long have you guys been playing?" So yeah, like these were like essentially like if you want to put it
God
into
tier.
D&D terms, like epic level characters, not just level 20, like beyond level 20 characters. Probably.
It was a nightmare for me to deal with, for sure.
Chad went 1v1 with a dreadnought and
Yeah.
almost won. Like,
It was definitely broken by the time we ended the campaign.
that's your litmus
You
test.
basically won.
Can you fight a flying city and win? Yes.
In one-
You're broken.
In one round.
I think if it's broke, don't fix it.
Ren made it!
Go runner.
Get your ass in
Hello,
here!
Ren.
Hi. I woke up.
Morning. Good night.
One of them.
It's a time. Time's a weird soup.
Indeed. Welcome to the show, Ren. Glad to have you here. We're just going over session 0 with the audience and discussing. We were discussing the morality mechanic and whether or not we're taking on that morality. Ego, I believe, Ego, I know, is force sensitive, so I believe you should take on the morality mechanic for campaign 2. But the premise is going to be.
Put it in the sheet.
To catch you up, we did talk about the premise of campaign 2, which is going to focus on the brothers' story as well as their connection to Dathomir, which we will eventually be heading to. And then, and then now we are discussing our respects and reasonings for some of the choices that we've made.
No worries.
Chav, we kind of derailed in the middle of yours, so if you want to continue.
Yeah. So, Chev's whole idea here. So with him in campaign 1, the idea was basically smuggler turned the best pilot in the galaxy. The idea of his story going up against Admiral Tazen, it wasn't enough for Chav to beat him. He had to absolutely make a fool out of him. So me, in the mind of character building, it was to make him as broken as possible so long as he was in the pilot seat of a vehicle. And I succeeded. Go watch the finale if you haven't. That being said, now that that is done and Kilbull is definitely out of the way, with that being said, Chev can kind of reset back to his original pathway, and this sort of reset is coming at a good time, where I can sort of take Chev from being an ace pilot and focus on him being the smuggler and ship captain that he was basically originally pitched to be. So at the end of campaign 1, Chev had 4 trees. He had the smuggler pilot tree. He had the ace gunner and ace rigger trees, and then he had the bounty hunter operator tree. Say that 10 times fast. Resetting back to 0. Oh, also, and the big thing for Chev was actually his skills that he had. He had 5 rank. He had maxed out ranks in piloting planetary, piloting space, gunnery. He had really good warfare. He had really good astrogation, a couple other things that were necessary for him. So resetting him back to 0 and having that lump sum of experience points. First of all, the one thing that I had to do was get Chev back to where he was with the dice pool. That began with taking our gracious +1 to a characteristic, putting that in agility, using experience points to raise agility as well, combined with the fact that Chev still has his cybernetic enhancements from campaign 1. Chev still has an agility of 7 going into campaign 2.
Ah!
Now,
Oh no!
along the way in campaign 1, he did have an increase to brawn and I think also cunning. So those are gone. Those are now back down to 2, so he's not as good in those skills and things like that. But we'll figure it out from there. That being said, during character creation, one is not allowed to take more ranks in a skill than 2. So it was basically at this time a lot of Chav's XP was going to trying to get his skills in the ranks where he wants them. So 2 ranks in both the piloting skills, 1 rank in gunnery, 1 rank in ranged light, a rank in charm, a rank in deception, a rank in negotiation, ranks in underworld and warfare, perception, mechanics, coordination, athletics, astrogation. He's a little bit spread out in skills. That's where a lot of my starting XP went to, because as I learned in campaign 1, having a good dice pool is better than having a fuck ton of talents. So if you are consistent in what you are good at, then it is better than having all these nice little, in this situation, I can do this. That being said, in terms of the talent trees, even though his original, so first of all, as a Nothawin, if you're following along with the books and stuff, you're not going to find Nothawin as a species in this game. I took the Dug and made it a Nothawin. So all the things that a Dug gets, that's what Chav has. So a Dug, for those who don't know, Sebulba from the Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace, yeah.
Instead of being a gangly little I walk on my arms creature, he's a tall, bald, suave man made of, looks like he's made of gold. So that being said, he has a rank of the defensive driving talent out of the gate, which raises the defense rating of all zones of a vehicle that I'm piloting per rank of defensive driving. So even if a ship that Chav is driving has no shields or anything like that, Chav piloting it, it has 1 in every defense zone.
That's awesome.
I also maintained the gift that our gracious GM bestowed upon me during campaign 1, which is the natural charmer talent. So once per session, I can reroll 1 charmer deception check, which makes me about a 5th as good of a face as Ego. That being said, of the 4 trees that we purchased along the way, even his original one being the pilot tree, I didn't take any talents outside of the Ace Rigger tree. And all that this basically did with my starting XP, I have a rank of gearhead, so I remove setback die from mechanics checks. I took 2 ranks of larger project, and then I took the signature vehicle talent, putting it on the Nothawin Chimera, Chav's Wayfarer, Wayfarer class medium freighter, which basically, with 2 ranks of larger projects, makes it so that he can actually use it on that. I upgraded the ability of all mechanics checks on the Nothawin Chimera once. And we're not going to talk about everything else about that, because it talks about if the ship is lost or destroyed, you can get a different one, and that's just not going to happen. So beyond all of that, going into season 2, it's going to be Chav trying to spend 180,000 credits to try to get some semblance of his old gear back. That's really what that's really what like Chav has left. Like, he still has the cybernetic implants, which he's not planning on getting anymore. He still has a couple things that he left on the Nothawin Chimera, so they weren't taken by the ISB. Beyond that, he's just got to purchase a couple extra things. It'll be up to see what our good old friends Slade and Hondo Onaka and the other one whose name
Galt.
Galt, that's the one. I almost said Ralt. That's our buddy. Seeing what they have available, seeing what we were able to salvage from our friends Auric Squad, and anything like that. And other than that, we have the Nothwin Chimera. Chev has his Imperial R-22 Sky Swooper. That's him. Furthermore, though, if the session calls for it, I will be playing XU, who only was featured in one shot previously during campaign 1, which basically, because of what we got with going into campaign 2, XU is stronger than he was in that one shot. So long story short, there he has the Marauder talent tree and a couple things that up his wound threshold. Other than that, his brawl and his athletics and his discipline and stuff like that are unhinged. He's 1 across the board in all of his characteristics, except he has a 6 in brawn and a 5 in willpower. That is all that XU is. Is he is strong, and he is a straightforward force to everything that he needs to do. But yeah, we'll see what happens to XU along the way. I know that some people have plans for him, like Victor, if he ever wants to play the second best pilot in the galaxy. It's, oh, hi, Victor. Hi, buddy. How you doing there?
Welcome, Victor. Thank you for joining us for tonight's session 0. Let's go ahead and turn our attention over to Dia as she covers her choices for Dove and what she chose to do with her respec.
So when we first met Dove, we knew her to be a very good bounty hunter for hire, mostly in the company of the Hutts, and has established a near sterling reputation for herself, I must say. She's expensive. Since then, we have discovered that she originally had roots in Dathomir and was actually the attempt to make a second successful Savage Opress, which led to having force sensitivity, not necessarily force abilities at the time that we knew her, because she actively refrained from using any of the swords to her advantage and instead heavily invested into the likes of arms and armaments. She originally started off with the Gadgeteer tree as a bounty hunter, and as the game progressed, also had the Assassin bounty hunter tree, as well as the Bodyguard hired gun tree, and eventually we discovered the Universal Night Sister tree. So that was 4 trees of talents in total, with heavy investments, to no one's surprised, in ranged weaponry and computers and mechanics. Since then, I have respected to still have 4 trees and essentially swapped out 2. In this going forward, she will be starting out with a bounty hunter assassin tree, so that was kept. The Night Sister tree remains. The hired gun was swapped out instead of bodyguard. It is now heavy to better prioritize the weaponry she prefers. And the Gadgeteer was swapped out in favor of soldier, being a sharpshooter. So as we come to know in the story, I realized she has a very heavy focus on guns in particular, and have just been trying to streamline her to better use those abilities. Her, what are they called? Not skills, ability scores.
Yeah.
Characteristics was originally 3 in brawn, 4 agility, 2 intellect, 2 cunning, 2 willpower, and 1 presence. With the way she has been respec, she has 3 in brawn, 4 agility, 2 intellect, 2 cunning, 4 willpower, and 1 presence. And again, we're continuing to invest heavily in ranged, heavy, light, with some singular ranks in computers, brawl, perception, piloting planetary, and survival.
What was the permanent 1 character +1 characteristic that you got from me invested in?
Oh, I didn't know we had that.
Yes, you get a permanent +1 to one of your characteristics.
Oh, dangerous. That'll probably go into my agility. Dangerous. I did not know that. I have no recollection of that, but that will be
Sorry.
invested. That's okay.
Some solid choices, Dia. I look forward to seeing how devastating Dove continues to be on the battlefield. But
It'll be interesting because she relied so heavily on weapons, which she has none. So we'll be going more towards
Yeah.
the Night Sister at this point when we land on Dathomir, which also checks out because, yeah, she still has her witchcraft and would still have. The only thing she would have access to is the dagger, but at her current rank of talents, would not be able to summon that through the Night Sister's magics.
yeah. For more context, at the end of campaign 1, the players were stripped of all their personal possessions during their incarceration with the ISB. And in a last-ditch effort to escape and survive and avoid being interrogated by Darth Vader, everybody fled without their gear to survive. So everybody's bare bones right now, which is perfect for starting off campaign 2. But that being said, thank you for sharing Dove's respec, Dia. Let's go ahead and move on over to Rawl, the man of many enemies. Rawl, what is our respec and what is your permanent +1 devoted to?
Where to start with Raw? Okay. Let's just say the first campaign saw Raw starting with his first tree being the Marauder skill tree. I definitely my first vision of Raw, and I've told this behind the scenes, but never to the audience. But my first vision of Raw has always been he's a force of nature. He literally steps on the battlefield and everything trembles, kind of feeling.
Right.
So as far as respec, I don't know. I mean, in comparison to Chav, honestly, I don't know how we're friends, because compared to Chav's 4 trees, Rawl has 10.
To be fair, some of those are force powers. Some of those are force powers.
Yes, and some of those trees were gifted from different circumstances. 2 of them being from a Sith holocron, another from our ever glorious GM. So Raw is a hodgepodge of different avenues, and a perfect example of a player steeping into their character, because I am, as an ADHD person and person who loves working with his hands, love just going off in different directions. So, however, going back to Raw, I feel he has drawn too far away from his past, and seeing as how we're going to the brother's past, it makes the most sense to kind of tap back into that persona.
Yeah.
However, Rawl can't go back. Like, he's forever gonna have a computer smash to the back of his skull. So, the skills that he picked up being a mechanic and a tech guru can't really just fade.
Right.
So I won't lean heavily into trying to max out those trees. And honestly, if the GM allows, I could even give up some trees entirely, as I have found that a couple of the trees that I have chosen are very niche and don't really satisfy the XP dumped into them. So, and especially the route that I'm trying to take Rawl into, it just doesn't make sense.
He was very diverse for the audience. Very, very diverse.
Yes. Yeah. He jack of all trades, master of definitely none, and a tank to boot. That is Raw in a nutshell. My +1 XP. I want to say I want to put it into willpower. Surprisingly enough, because I have enough that I can dump extra stuff into Braun, and that's
Mhm.
gonna be always his backbone. But with the things that we're about to jump into and the things that Rawl's already experienced,
Yeah.
especially with his internal struggles with the dark side, yeah, willpower, for sure.
That's fair enough. That's gonna determine a lot of like resistances and whatnot. Especially being the fact that Force and Destiny is going to be focusing a little more entirely on the Force aspect of the TTRPG. Having some resistances would be very beneficial for some of the players.
Especially after Rawl's little kind of sort of one-on-one with a force crazed Jedi. Yeah, I definitely want some resistances, please and thanks.
So yeah, +1, a permanent +1 to your willpower would be pretty beneficial. Good choice.
Yep. And as far as everything else, the skills and things, there's so much to go over, and the brothers currently haven't. We've had like one talk, but we haven't discussed in depth like what is the most beneficial. But I know Rawl wants to get back to his roots.
Okay.
That's most likely some of for Rawl.
So it sounds like you haven't finished picking out your abilities yet for Rawl, but you have an idea on what direction you're going to go?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, thanks for sharing, Oz. Look forward to seeing what you turn out with this guy. It's going to be interesting. Let's go ahead and move on down to the second row of our cast tonight. Let's start with you, Kesh. What is your permanent +1 dedicated to, and how did you respec Kesh to fit campaign 2?
So, much like Chav, reducing Kesh back to a low-level character was an undertaking, and also, I have 4 less trees than Roll did, as I have 6. They were all majority of them were based around Chiss Agent and being a very good tracker and survivalist in Oryx Squad. But, the +1 I added was actually to his intelligence, because Chiss have a 3 in their intelligence, so now that's a permanent 4.
That's good. Okay.
Because of everything that's happened, I actually threw out Scout and Survivalist.
Okay.
And using the XP that was available, added the Bounty Hunter Martial Artist and the... Because one thing I noticed is we didn't have a doctor. We didn't have a healer. So,
I mean, we had one, but he exploded.
yeah.
We heal by casting something called Shake It Off.
Yeah, but I took the colonist doctor talent tree, and just so that way I could start not maining and focusing on that, but just having at least a little bit to help with the healing process, which is very important. Kept assassin, kept operator, kept skip tracer, kept pilot. Not as good as Chav, and probably never will be, but at least be able to be as good for a co-pilot if needed, or at least be able to keep the ship in one piece.
Okay.
Did not realize we lost all our equipment, so my beautiful sniper rifle I have to get rid of, and I'm loathing to do it. That thing had 3 attachments. That thing had 4 attachments to it. I built that baby. Yeah.
We lost a Night Stinger too.
Yeah, it's like it is.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Killbolt lost his Night Stinger too.
That doesn't make me feel better. My baby, and also it also means I lost the Death Trooper E11 blaster carbine to compound. Oh, there's so much gear I have to get rid of, including my tracker's goggles. Dang it! But I put a little bit of XP in medicine, put a little bit of XP in deception because I want to keep that double agent Chiss style, and I want to more focus in on that as the story progresses.
Yeah.
Because Kesh has lost his rebel cell, he's lost his team, he lost his special forces, and the last thing he did was hold a grudge against someone he really shouldn't have. His ego said, I believe 3 times, let it go. And he never did, and so he's spiraling a lot at the present moment when we catch up with him in season 2.
Gotcha.
So he's falling back on his training as a Chiss agent and literally almost regressing from when he first came out of the Unknown Regions. So hence the change in talent trees. But
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing, Jay, your character choices for Respec. We look forward to seeing how the losses that Kesh suffered will affect his motivations going forward. Let's go ahead and move on over to the person we've all been waiting for forever. Endeavor. Ego. Ren, what is your choices that you've made in regards to your permanent +1 to your characteristics, as well as your respec choices for your character?
Well, the permanent +1 had to go into presence. I don't know why that's a question. It had to. There was no other option. So
That's a
Ego
given.
starting off with presence 5. Which is not a level I got to last time, so we're starting off stronger than we were before. So yes, in terms of respec A, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I did a little bit of a swap around with making when we met Ego first, I had him initially as like more of a scoundrel in my mind, and that quickly transitioned into becoming the party face in a way it did not expect. But so I've shifted around with making Charmer the priority tree. I have kept Scoundrel just a little bit because there's a lot of toughens in there that I need if I want to be strong at all.
Fair enough.
But immediate works are going to be going up the talent tree for Charmer, just so I can ruin Tarzan's day all day.
I love it.
We are still Force sensitive exile as we would, but yeah, because of the having to go from the ground up again, it's gonna take a moment to get back into the actual thorough day ruining that I could do with influence and things like that. But I do still have control, emotion, belief, and a little bit of range, so it's a wild time all around. In terms of skills, again, we're just the coolest cat ever. With high charm, I feel like in this go round, Ego might be leaning. We saw a little bit of it in like trying to help people and boost their abilities and give little bonuses. I think he might be leaning a bit more leadership, whether that's gonna be a good thing or not.
I like it.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I think the face is gonna be working more towards being at the head.
I like it.
And any potential conflicts that arise from that, well, I guess we'll find out. But also, he has settled very much into like being with the party in a way that I don't think he expected.
Right.
But he also still has his sister to find and get. That is very important.
And we'll be exploring that little aspect in this coming campaign, to be sure. All right. Thank you for sharing, Ren. Excited to see where you go with this character. He's always been so fun to watch in the scenes. So we have a lot to look forward to with Ego. All right. Moving on to the final cast member for tonight's session 0, the one, the only, Victor. Oho, I almost forgot Oho's name for a second. Oho. Victor, what is your permanent one characteristic choice, and what direction did you go with your respec?
So agility, obviously, for the +1. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't done the full respec, but there's also a reason for it, and that is because when I look at the choices I made for Oho, I don't think I would change any of them.
Mhm.
I think the only thing that I am still debating about is what thing I am making his like career, like his first career.
Mhm.
That's the only thing that I'm debating because of the fact that Oho started as an assassin,
Right.
very good with sniper rifles, but then Oho also, started reconnecting with the Force using lightsaber. So there's that part of me that goes, the assassin part, I still want to keep it because of the ability for stealthing. Like his stealth is a big part of his identity, so I definitely want to keep that.
Right.
But it's just a matter of, am I starting with the assassin tree or am I starting with the shadow tree, which is a sentinel career? And so I have both of them. I have used both of them because that's part of how I made Oho such a menace.
Right.
And so now it's just a matter of me determining, and this is something that I think I still need to ponder and potentially even like discuss from a storytelling perspective, which is the idea of, as we are going into a storyline that is connected to Dathomir and the Force, and the fact that now he's sort of has embraced the Force a little more. His brother is also going to be embracing the Force more. It's having a lightsaber of his own. They're probably going to have to be training that because they need to get good at it. They need to like connect with that because that wasn't something particularly that they trained with the sisters.
Right.
Do I prioritize that, or do I just stick to a similar order of focus when it comes to like the way that I unlock the trees in season 1 and just sort of trust the process? I think the only thing that I may adjust when it comes to Force trees is that I may not put as much XP into some of the Force trees that I have like close to unlocked,
Mhm.
because I want to put more into the Seek tree, which is the tree that he used to determine that this Ego sister was alive.
Yeah.
And I think that that is something that is in the back of his head, but also he knows that that's a valuable Force ability that he probably will want to develop, not just to help with Ego Sister,
Right.
but also for any other potential thing that they may need to look, whether it's an item, a valuable thing, or a person that they need to be like, is this person nearby? Do we need to run away? Or is this person nearby? Do we need to fly somewhere because we need to catch him?
Right.
So I would think that that is the only thing that is going to maybe have a bit of an adjustment in regards of like maybe the move tree or like one of the other Force trees is not going to be as unlocked.
Right.
And then the Seek tree might get a couple of extra unlocks that I didn't have before. But that is also going to be like a trajectory throughout the season. Because I think it's just him constantly, like, part of the practice is probably going to be him trying to sense Ego Sister in a regular way just to like keep tabs on it.
Right.
And so that's part of it as well.
Right.
And also keeping a tab on like any of the other things that they encounter, like the people from the Empire. Can he tap into any of them? Can he sense whether or not these people are still alive? Are they close by? Are they far?
Right.
And so I think that's kind of like the way that I see it. But overall, like when I was looking at the trees that I have, other than just like what's unlocked and what's not in the beginning, that's what's going to shift. But the trees in general, I think most of them I would still keep.
Gotcha. For additional context, all Force sensitive characters were able to maintain their baseline powers that they've unlocked through the Force. So if they like Force power move, so on and so forth,
Yep.
they have the baseline ability unlocked. They just have to repurchase the power, the magnitudes, the range, so on and so forth, going forward. And then to rehash.
When you say Force power, do you mean all of the trees have the first Force power purchased?
The ones that you've, yeah.
So, for instance, I have like 4 or 5 of them.
Right.
All of them I can use a first ability. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. All baseline abilities are unlocked for the force powers. But to rehash for you, Victor, we did discuss earlier the potential of enacting the morality mechanic that is an optional mechanic. We didn't use it last campaign, the obligation form of it, due to the fact that we were all learning the game for the most part. But this campaign, I was looking to implement this mechanic if everybody is on board with it, and we are determining if the entire party is doing morality, or if the force sensitive characters are doing morality and the others are doing obligation or duty. If we do the combination option, force sensitive characters will be starting at 50. If we do all morality, then I got to look at the mechanics, but you guys are able to either purchase or sacrifice morality for experience points and whatnot, and basically determine where you want your morality to be. But 50 is mid-level baseline, so not evil, not good. Is just it gives you room to grow if we do the combo option. But what is your thoughts on the mechanic?
Yeah, I'm down with it. I mean, I think like it is a good thing to practice too with characters like Oho, because when we started this, we started with the idea we didn't want to come across as Jedi or anything like that, just because we were force sensitive. You know,
Right.
we're survivors. But obviously, season one did sort of put us in a position where the questions of, okay, maybe you're not like quote unquote hero, but what is your moral compass?
Yeah.
You know, and so I feel like it's a good thing to explore and I like the idea of putting it on the line in a measurable way, just to see how that could influence the choices made
Right.
and considerations of like, do I sacrifice this hero or not, or what do I do?
Yes. Campaign 2 is definitely going to put you guys in situations where you're going to have to make some hard choices. That being said, for morality, it's a conflict mechanic. So anytime you make choices or make hard choices, you generate conflict points essentially. And at the end of every session, people that are using the morality mechanic have to roll a d10. Depending on how many points of conflict that you generate in a session, if you roll above that number, your morality continues to rise. If you roll below that number, your morality decreases by that number of points, by like 1 to 5 points. If you match the roll, you neither grow nor regress. So it's a fun mechanic, and it's not extremely punishing, but it's a fun way to measure how your character grows throughout the campaign, I think. And it gives both us and the audience a unit of measure to see how the character progresses and grows. But that's we don't have to decide it tonight. We can continue to discuss the pros and cons behind the scenes before launch date of campaign 2, which we have yet to discuss. That being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next segment. Let me pull up my framework here. That's right. Discussing where we would be heading, or where we would be beginning our story. That being said, for narrative reasons, you guys are going to be stuck in the Outer Rim. You'll find out the reasons why in episode 1, but we have to determine where you guys would end up. And this will potentially put us a week to several weeks after the events of the Battle of Nothwin, and immediately after the confrontation of Killbolt and Oho.
Do you have viable choices for us to like what planet to stay on, or do
Boy,
you want us to choose?
do I. Let me pull up my my Outer
Of course
Rim
you do.
segments here.
While we're doing this, I wanted to say, Tarzan,
Yes.
for the fun of it, I would be open to discussing how the morality mechanic and apply the first like rank of the morality mechanic based on the attack of Oho on Killbolt to basically start
Start the roll. Yeah. Start the
season
measure.
2 with that measure.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, so here's some options. Let me pull up the galaxy map so I can. No, we're just gonna list off some planets here. We got a plethora of options to choose from for campaign 2 beginning episode. One more notable and a familiar location, Bespin. You could go back to Bespin. Another option, we kind of touched on it last campaign, Mandalore. Could go to Mandalore. Nalhada, you can always go back to. Ryloth, visit the home of the Twi'leks. We got Sullust, Terrace, Voss, another interesting planet. That is also a Force Nexus. Force Nexus. And then Zagiria or Utapau. Just to name off a few. Or Cathar. Cathar is another cool, fun option.
Are we technically still 4 ABY or are we 5 ABY now?
Still 4 ABY. We're only
Still 4 ABY.
We're only in month 4 of the 4th year, so not that far away.
I think Mandalore is going through the Great Purge right now, though. So I don't know if we would want to go to Mandalore. It's like, hey guys, what are you doing? The Mandalorians are like, run! We're like, okay, never mind, Bob.
We do a drive-by.
Yeah.
Drive by, grab a bunch of Mandalorian stuff, including armor and weapons, and leave.
Got any Beskar? Just throw it. Just throw it. We'll catch it. Okay, bye.
There's
how
also
often does the camera get to pan to Mandalore? So
Mandalore has some interesting implications for sure. But yeah, there are some pretty serious conflicts taking place on Mandalore during this time frame. There's also the option of Duxon, I believe, is what I alluded to last campaign. Let me see. Where's my missions that I had available to you guys? Storyboard, there we go.
honestly, anything but Bespin, because Bespin, we're still wanted fugitives there.
No, we're not. We had our names cleared. And we got executed.
Okay, officially. However, there are still people who know.
Your enemies?
I was
enemies.
trying to line it up.
There are always people out who know.
So Duxon would be the another option, but I need to figure out where Duxon is exactly in the wide galaxy.
So, with things that have been said here, things that struck out to me, Nalhada is where we started the
Correct.
campaign, right?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. It is a central hub of the Outer Rim, so it's always a safe bet.
Juxtaposition.
So I was extremely comfortable in Nalhada.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chav would be as
Of all
well.
places, yeah.
So that kind of is
I
something that stuck out to me.
To give you a little more of a actually. No, never mind. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say anything. Because that leaves some interesting narrative options for me.
Well, just
Actually-
to distract myself from whatever it is that you just teased, I'm going to continue on. We do have friends on Bespin. Friends who also have access to getting things like weapons and other gear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So even we don't necessarily have to, front kick our way into Bespin, but going there might not be a bad idea. We do have some friends there and so on and so forth. And we made mention, hey, some people got stripped of their really nice, really nice things that go blast or boom or stab. So we might be able to replace some of that. Other than that, I mean, now out of that sounds like going back to, I mean, at least for Chav, it sounds like going back to the roots of maybe getting started on getting somewhere with the huts or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of this also does hinge on the confirmation that Kilbold is fucking dead right now, because if he's not and somehow gets away from having a lightsaber summoned in his chest cavity,
we're not cantrip catapulting shit into people's bodies. All right.
Why not?
well,
All I'm saying
that's
is
so
that man was more
possible. It's so
machine than person,
possible.
so I technically was not summoning that lightsaber into a person. I just summoned it between a couple of mechanical spaces.
yeah,
So
I mean, we
Between a
all saw
cup
what-
holder and a space heater, that's where we summoned
Yeah,
it.
we saw what it looked like when Obi-Wan was ripping open the ribcage of General Grievous. There's plenty of space in there.
Yes, sir.
Just saying it.
you guys are
But it's
funny.
called a chest cavity.
You know what, Mr. His Majesty Lord DM, even if that doesn't work, I'm just saying airlocks are a thing.
Airlocks are a thing. Absolutely.
He's not getting off of the VCX. I'm telling you this now. It's not going to happen. He's not making his way to the Nathoan Chimera. It's not a thing. Either that or Campaign 2, we're all making new characters that are the renegade fucking agents of the ISB that are still loyal to Kilbolt after he just killed Core Atlas. Which I don't think he's going to do.
Honestly?
He's going to get launched into space.
Kilbolt is not surviving all.
He's not surviving all of us. I'm just saying.
Interesting thoughts. I like it. I like it a lot.
Ha! Ha!
Kesh does want to have a word with him though as to how he knew him, because that's how he got introduced. That's the only
So,
thing.
If I may also talking about like the Outer Rim, this is not something that we ever, I think, spoke in like a full-on clear way.
Mhm.
But let us not forget that Raul and Ojo, technically from lore perspective, met Chav in the Outer Rim,
Mhm.
because Raul and Ojo were living in the Outer Rim for a
Correct.
long time. So we could potentially have locations that would make sense for the two of them. For example, or I think his what did I see? Ord Mantell, the planet of Ord Mantell, is a place where like a lot of the times people are looking for like salvage pilots and things, and we have established that Ojo and Raul worked a lot of salvage stuff when they were like hiding
Right.
after they faked their deaths during the Battle of Yavin. So Ord Mantell could potentially be one of the places that the brothers know could be a place to go. Nal Hora, which is the place where we started, one of the places where we began, which is Hut Space. We also have to consider the fact that we have Dove, and I believe Dove, when we were doing the stealing of the crystal, Dove got some really valuable information that we sent to the huts. So like, I don't know that we ever either cashed in or saw the reaping benefits of that. So
No,
that could be a
and-
potential connection between like something that happened like really early in season 1 that then we could potentially cash in at the beginning of season 2.
Yeah.
Calphalon also got an anonymous donation from us back on Bespin during all of that.
This is true. So like I think that we do have places that even we got it like we mixed into the storyline during season one that could like if we were thinking about it like as the characters on the ship and being like we need somewhere to go, we have some places that would be more places to consider because we do have like he mentioned Bespin that we have people in Bespin. It's like yeah, but we did also like things got a little tricky in Bespin, but we have now Hoda because we have all the donation and the information that Dove sent,
Yeah.
and potentially we could use Ord Mantell or something like that if we wanted to be like well the brothers at some point use that place to kind of lay low, so we could do it as well. So I don't know. Those are like three places that I can think of that are connected to the storyline,
Mhm.
like with like specifics.
Gotcha. I like these. I like these plot lines. Very fun. Very, very demure.
Plus, it'd be nice to just be like getting a thanks from a hut or something.
Right. But yeah. So yeah, we got a couple options. It sounds like the more logical option would probably be Nalhutta again. Just to return to our roots of how we started the campaign to begin with. So yeah, all right. We'll have that in mind. Let's see, what other points did I need to touch on? Thank you, Benu Isis. I appreciate the compliment. We touched on beginning location. We covered Lines and Veils. Is there any changes to Lines and Veils from the last campaign? You can either vocalize them here or message me privately. Feel free. I am an open door policy guy. Yeah, you can just talk to me and I got you. But yeah, if there's any changes, please feel free to make them known either now or in the DMs or on the Google Doc that I sent last time. Otherwise, we'll continue as is unless otherwise instructed. Finally,
Could you possibly re-specify what lines and veils are for the audience? Because that's something I don't think we discussed quite a bit.
I'm still new to the idea to Lines and Veils, but it's basically a way to measure or like a preventative measure of crossing over into territories that people aren't comfortable with. But Matt is way more experienced with it. I'm going to let you take the reins with that explanation, if you will.
Yeah, that is the long and short of it, is making sure that people are not being exposed to things that could be potentially triggering or uncomfortable or anything like that. There are a lot of common things which we hear about, and it's generally things that end in the suffixes of phobia or ism, or not ism, yeah, ism. So any of those words that come to mind generally, either people aren't okay with them or it's just not necessary to be featured that much.
Yeah.
I will say some of them are pretty prominent in Star Wars media canon and things like that. And it just, if it's something that we are not comfortable with as a table, it doesn't need to be part of our Star Wars story.
Correct.
So there's a few different methods of going about it. There are consent forms, or there are Google Sheets with different color coded things. There is the X card system. If something's said, kind of just X your way out of it. We just move past it. Fade to black on certain things, whatever it may be. It's usually an agreement of the table that all these things are, whatever it is for everybody is not going to be featured. If, it's stuff that you're comfortable bringing up to a group in this setting, by all means you can. I'm very open about my lines and veils, so like little things that are like very specific. is definitely like, I'm not a fan of racism. I'm not a fan of like transphobia, fatphobia, um, you know, anything against LGBTQ, anything like that.
Right.
It's not necessary. More specific things, stuff that people don't think of, like I didn't know originally. I had a problem with mentions of not like memory loss, but specifically Alzheimer's and dementia. I have an issue with graphic depictions of ocular trauma. Like, hey, if it's, somebody got hit, they lost their eye, I'm okay hearing about that. But if you're talking about it actually happening, or if anybody's a
graphic
fan of the
detail,
Dead Space
yeah.
series, Cross Your Heart, Hope to Die, Stick a Needle in Your Eye,
Ah!
I did not like that at all. It was not a fun
That
thing
was
to
so
experience.
uncomfy too. Oh, so
Yeah,
uncomfy.
really. And that's the whole thing. I've done a lot about safety and a lot of things, and like there are some things that you would not even think of as something that somebody else is like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to touch on it. So if there's like some things that we can talk about as a group, but if there is anything that hey, I'm not comfortable with this, but I also don't really want to say it out loud, shoot our GM a message behind the scenes, and it will get handled. Usually like a master copy is given to the players before play actually begins.
Mhm.
This is something that we didn't do at the beginning of campaign 1. It's something that we're all kind of learning as we kind of go. And it sort of evolved throughout the campaign. Yeah, so it's trying to go in with our best foot forward on
Yeah.
campaign 2.
Yeah. And then quick disclaimer for Star Wars. There is elements of xenophobia and genocide and whatnot. In terms of like racism towards alien species and whatnot, I typically keep it in the background and only present it as an option to the players to overcome in the immediate space. I don't really go excessively into it. I hope, at least, but my players seem to trust my judgment and application of the tool. But yeah, no, I rarely use it if I have in the game, if I don't have to. That being said, anytime a player does get uncomfortable, please feel free to let me know. We'll take a quick break or however we need to handle it, and then we'll continue on and whatnot. Other than that, I think that is it for session 0. Matt, is there anything that I haven't covered that should be covered in session 0?
You didn't cover the additional 600 experience that we're all going to be getting around that. The additional 500,000 credits that we're all going to be getting. Chav getting a capital ship off the bat. Those kinds of things. So if we could touch on that before we leave. We talked about safety. We talked about the direction of the campaign. We talked about sort of character choices. I did miss some of that, but hey, that's life. At this point, this is usually the point during session 0s that I would say is open floor. What questions do people have, if any?
So just to clarify,
Mhm.
when we got abducted by the ISB, we lost all of we lost all of our present equipment, but the things that we had on ships is still fine.
Correct.
Money?
Unless you were carrying thousands of credits in your pockets, yeah, that's gone.
I specifically made mention that Chav left his credits on the Nothwin Chimera when he left it in the middle of space.
I remember
so
that
there we go.
actually I remember that I actually still have the sniper rifle because that was left on the ship.
Damn it.
When we got taken, I only came in with the lightsaber because we entered with the lightsaber into the. So I have my sniper rifle.
Son of a bitch! I thought I got rid of it.
Also, I had posed that question in chat, but I guess for the audience, does that mean the brothers lose or retain their force summon weapons?
We need to unlock it again.
Yeah, if I mean,
True, but if
you
we
got
get
150
150
XP.
XP, we can lock it pretty much immediately. Like
dude,
it's not that far away.
Yeah, either
So
either
that's
you
what I'm saying
spend it-
is
you gotta, as soon as you buy it, you will have it again.
I mean,
That could be
at the end of
thing to
camp.
role play through. You know, like truly, like, hey, right now we're trying to lay low, maybe lay off the force powers and stuff, and then when you do finally unlock it, it's that thing like, all right, Rawl, we got to go get some things going, and then you just summon an axe in your hands. Of where we go
It's
in,
true.
where's the enemies?
Yeah.
I wanted to bring to attention just for people if you get a kick out of it, because I was looking it up trying to trace what things are happening in this universe. During the last month, if this is the 4th month of a 4ABY,
Mhm.
it means that a month ago, Luke Skywalker rescued Han Solo from the Hutts.
Mhm.
It also means that in this
Yeah,
current
carbonite.
month, Luke Skywalker with a pilot called Shaba are rescuing a piece of the tree that was supposed to be growing in the Jedi Temple in Coruscant in the planet of Vatim in the Inner Rim.
Mm.
So just so you all know, these are the things that are happening canonically while we are doing our shenanigans
Right.
right now.
So what I'm hearing is that we're about to go and sign on with Boba Fett as he's trying to take over Tatooine and Mos Eisley and stuff like that. So we just need to go there.
Fennec
We're
Chan.
gonna get on Power Ranger speeder bikes and be his little biker gang.
Ah.
I mean, we
Hey,
might
it's a
have an
vehicle.
excuse. We might have an
Core
excuse to
Atlas
go
is
there.
a s-
We might have an excuse to
Based-
go there.
Based on the last known position, potentially, the Raider war cry that Oho heard, I think Ego Sister might be on Tatooine.
Mm,
Yeah.
We have a lead.
Also,
pod
Mm,
races
yeah,
there. I'm good to go.
yeah. Also, Tarzan, did I at least manage to keep my vibro knife? If I've lost my sniper, my blaster pistols, and my Death Trooper blaster rifle, that's fine. Can I at least keep my
Yeah.
vibro knife?
Roll
Hey,
for
you
this
Take
moment.
it on the ship.
It
Just
was-
say
it-
no mentally.
Well, the thing, I wish I could say no. I wish I could say no, but Kesh carries everything with him on a just-in-case basis. So,
Cash is the
Then you lost
Punisher.
it.
He's
Did he?
yeah,
Did Kesh have the talent known as Prison Wallet?
no. He
That'd be
literally had
terrible.
at one point. At which
Terrible.
point he had the right tool. He had the right. He just got the right tool for the job. So that's how he pulled out the data spike thing because he had it, and also the hands-free bloody things. It's like, So do I at least keep my vibro knife? Do I at least keep that because it was in his boot essentially?
I mean, you guys got
Bro, you
stripped
probably don't
down.
even have the boots.
Probably started there.
we were taken by the ISB. I imagine each of our characters
Yeah.
are currently sitting on a slab of metal somewhere, completely naked. Like we're just there.
I
Yeah.
mean,
So I don't think
if you're distraught, just imagine how Dove feels right now without her power armor.
Yeah, like it's more of a we've all lost everything.
This is
Whole
why
identity and
Dove is gonna
everything.
go to where she knows where money is.
Huh?
Or otherwise, to be fair, most of the
That's
money
fair.
was actually wired to Ember for most of the entire series. She could just cash out
Yeah.
when opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, Dove's never
And she
needed
will
to
within our
be
means.
here.
No, it's out of the goodness of what heart
That
remains.
Exactly.
We're the Make-A-Wish party for Dove. Dove is like, okay, fine, I guess
I'm
I'll
gonna
help you
cry.
not.
Stop.
This is my new adopted
I got nothing
family.
better going on.
Mm.
So, a little question in terms of force rating,
Mhm.
because for Ego, I got one from getting the force sensitive exile tree,
Correct.
and then there was a second one that you just gave me one time. Do I keep that one? Basically, I had been gone for like 8 months.
Mhm.
And when I came back, you were like, I feel like ego is stronger than this. Here, have a force, right? So I'm just like, do I still keep that one?
Everybody in the audience, look at Tarzan's face right now. This is a man considering the consequences of his own actions.
Everybody can look at Victor and Os's face as we are preparing to say, well, if you're giving force.
Actually, on the subject of force, I put it in the chat, but we didn't get around to it. When you say baseline abilities are unlocked for force users, are you indicating like the first row of a talent tree, or are you like
The basic
what does that
form.
mean?
Every force ability has a basic form. That's just the first ability unlocked.
So not the force. So not the force ability, like force related abilities in like a regular tree. The force trees usually the top of it is just one ability. It doesn't have like the
Just
4
one.
row thing. It's just one that you unlock.
So that
Okay.
won't cost that
Yeah,
10
That's the
XP.
worst.
Yeah, that one's free. That one you already have unlocked.
As far as I mean, the free force die I gave you, there's a reason we respec. So no, you do lose it.
Damn it.
Everybody's back down to baseline. All right.
So hypothetically, if everybody who had a force tree unlocked is getting the first level of that unlocked, could some people who are not force sensitive have, I don't know, like 250,000 credits? That's all I'm asking. Just a low lump sum of 250, just 1 million credits. That's all. You know, some people got that as a loan from their father, and look at them now.
I mean, Raw and Oho are like the last of an Assassin Syndicate. We could have some money squirreled away in a ghost account somewhere.
No.
I'm
That's
gonna
for you.
clarify this right now. Oho was broke for a long time, and then Oho got himself in possession of 20,000 credits. Oho was not keeping those credits in his pocket because you don't keep 20,000 credits in your pocket. So if the sniper rifle was on the ship and he had the credits not stored in like an account, then those credits are still with us.
Speaking of Bespin, going back to money, speaking of Bespin, Raw did explicitly make a point of having a black card, credit card, whatever, and credits separately. As far as how much that would be, and I mean, we haven't really done a money episode really to update all of that. I don't know how you want to role play that.
I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
You don't remember? Okay.
I remember you
time
having
when the-
a
when-
good stack of credits, and then you just role played that you kept money on a black card. I'm like, okay, that sounds fancy. Why not?
You remember that? Okay.
I'm pretty sure you
was the
spent
time
all
when
that shit
Raw
though.
had got his. I mean, that was when I had introduced the black card. I had made it known that that was an account that the brothers had used back when they were in their mercenary days with the rebels and whatnot. So
Interesting.
as to
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is hypothetical money that I'm not going to fuck around with. So we're just gonna start with the money that we have.
Hey, that's fine.
All I'm asking
That's fine.
for is a Star Viper class attack platform. Okay,
Listen,
that's all that. I
Listen,
want.
you guys want a big ass payout right out the gate. You got some considering to do. Is it really worth killing Killbolt?
Yes.
Because he's got
After
some
all
money.
that we've been through.
All right,
Yes.
fine. We ask what his PIN number is, and then we
Rob him at the ATM.
Killbolt is so machine. We'll just hack into his dead body.
That's true.
He's
Yeah,
also
need him a lot.
Falcon
Good
for
kill
scrap.
them.
he's also
Okay.
ISB, and they have
Sounds like a him problem.
He
some.
was. I just.
Just give me.
He
give me-
was. He was.
ISB.
Was
ISB.
ISB. So
No.
still thermal detonator comes out.
Give me some
I
time.
like where
I
basic
can hack
basics
it.
of the game is thinking. I like his thought process there. Their thought
Basics
process.
of the game. He's talking about Raw right now.
Ah.
Yeah, that is the
It's
raw
all fun and games
mentality.
until Raw goes. So what if I throw a grenade between two of my friends to make it explode in one direction to hit the
Listen.
evil one, but don't kill the two people that are really next to the bomb?
Listen, I will forever stand by the fact that Raw's turn went first, okay, and he was primed to throw a grenade. We all know Raw throws grenades, and then the one time the doctor, who usually plays on the back line, decides to go in front.
Charging
yeah,
a Rancor.
I don't know what else could happen.
Listen, choices were
Like, hey,
choices
man.
were made. All right. For the
moral
audience.
Of the moral of the story is if you choose to go in the front of combat without Raw's permission, his way of reprimanding you is he will throw a grenade at you.
for context for the audience, the cast went to Korriban for an expedition.
Why? I don't know.
Up Schitt's
And-
Creek.
And they started using force powers on the surface of Korriban, which prompted to perk up the attention of a force-eating entity known as a Tentarek. And it came charging because it was hungry to eat some force sensitives. And Doc Bess decided, I'm going to go try and cripple this thing by poking its joints. And came to learn the hard way that you can't get past this dude's soak without some serious firepower. And found a grenade at his feet, a thermal variety, and went boom.
That's
Choices
right,
were made.
kids. If
In
you have
many-
if you have one party member who's able to heal you, blow him up.
You want to make things interesting? Kill the
Hey.
medic.
Not the enemy medic. Your
Hey.
medic.
Not the enemy. Not the others. Not the other end.
Choices were
Yo.
made.
Talk about flying by the seat of your pants, okay?
Choices were made. Consequences were rendered, and
The pieces of the best that remain did fly by this, then the pants included with the bomb explosion. That did happen, I'm sure.
and
And for the record, the players are all okay above the table.
Oh, yes.
We've all come to a good resolution
Yes.
here because we talk and we communicate like adults.
yes,
Like when Tarzan is about to
Yeah.
tell me that I'm allowed to have a Star Viper class attack platform going into this.
you're gonna have to talk
Nice
to your
try.
boy
That
Killbolt.
was a great-
With the droid brain.
I don't have Speak with Dead.
Anyways, I believe that's going to conclude session 0 for Star Wars Force and Destiny. We're at an hour and 53 minutes for the episode, so let's start with a little quick re-immersion into our characters and get ourselves immersed in preparation for campaign 2. We're going to start off with a little exercise, if you will. Danger room scenario. All right?
Oh, goody.
Imagine yourselves, if you will, as Dove, Chav, Rawl, Kesh, Ego, and Oho. You're thousands of years back into the past. During the Knights of the Old Republic era. Dove, you are a champion Mandalorian fighter on the front lines in the war between the Sith and the Jedi. Chav, you are a commanding officer in the Alliance. Oho and Rawl, Jedi Knights fighting the war front. Ego, the suave smuggler with a talent, with a penchant for the propensity, not penchant, propensity towards the Force. Still working your magic as normal. Kesh, a double agent sniper, working for the Rebellion. Or not the Rebellion, the Alliance. You guys are on the surface of Alderaan, initiating a guerrilla tactics strike on a roving patrol of an Imperial brigade. You got droid walkers, Sith warriors, a Sith Inquisitor leading the charge, making an advancement towards the estates of the Organa family. You guys are hidden amongst the trees, waiting for this unit, this element of Sith forces to maneuver in position. You can hear the mechanical footfalls of these tripedal droids with significant firepower. The heavy armored footfalls of the Sith Knights stepping in unison along with the Imperial troopers in mass. Kesh, you line up your sights on the Inquisitor leading this element. What do you all do? You have Alliance forces providing you support. However, you are lightly armed. The Empire controls this sector. So getting your forces out here was a daunting task in itself. But you are relying on the element of surprise. What is your primary targets? And how do you direct your forces?
If definitely not Chav is still like functioning off of what Chav is capable of, what vehicles do I have at my disposal?
I'm glad you asked. You have a element of those recon walkers at your disposal. The
like what is that, ATRT or whatever it's called?
Yeah, but the ones that are thousands of years ago, back in the Knights of the Old Republic. Can't remember what they're called then. We'll go with ATRTs for the time being. But yeah, you got an element of 6.
Using the using the stats of that works for me.
Yeah, you got an element of 6 vehicles with utilizing that vehicle platform.
Then definitely not Chav is going to coordinate with them who are setting up an ambush, it looks like. He's going to give the order to when the order is given to attack, the walkers are to fire upon the heavy artillery that this unit has.
The droid
walkers.
Droid walkers, okay. All right, Dove, you are leading the front lines. How do you prepare your element for battle? For the ambush, I should say.
I feel like Dove in true Dove form is going to find out what looks like it would be the biggest heavy hitter and try to take that out before it takes them out.
Okay.
Whether that requires some reconnaissance or any intel that could be accessed beforehand, if there's some sort of known strategy that they like to employ.
Gotcha. The Vanguard next to you hands you his macro binoculars, and you take a look through the scopes, and you identify a unit of flame troopers amongst their ranks. While they don't have as much range, but they do pack significant firepower, and you know that the tanks utilized to fuel these weapons are highly combustible and would produce a significant impact to their forces should they prematurely detonate amongst their ranks. However, they are centrally located as a means to provide them the most protection as possible while in an exposed space. So, thinning the masses in a certain area would prove to be the most effective way to get a clear line of sight on those flame troopers, which could be facilitated by way of Chav's element, RTST element. Rollin Oho. You have a small detachment of Jedi Knights amongst the forces hidden amongst the trees. You guys are actually positioned in the canopy above, poised to drop down immediately on top of the Sith forces below. What was your preparations prior to this Empire element making their arrival? Any tools or traps you guys would implement during this warfare?
I think question would be, from the intel gathered from us about the Sith or Imperial forces coming through, are there any characters of note that are supposed to be making an appearance on the enemy lines in this particular mission?
The known mission is that they are heading to the Organa estate to eliminate the Governor Organa. They're trying to silence his voice in the court systems or in the political atmosphere of Alderaan, as they are the most staunch opposers of the Empire's influence on Alderaan. So they're trying to eliminate the strongest voice, or weaken the strongest voice in the political atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. A
My
cool idea.
question is, sorry, before these questions, the other question is answered. My question is, our original mission for coming here, was it to help protect and defend the forces that were sent out here, protect their flanks, or to find a target? Because if we're here to protect, then I know exactly what we're doing. If we're here to obtain a target,
Your mission,
a couple different steps.
Your mission from the temple would have been to protect the Alliance assets on Alderaan, which would be the Organa estate. They are your guys' strongest representation on Alderaan, because Alderaan sits in limbo between the Sith Empire and the Alliance. So whichever way Alderaan leans is going to devote a significant amount of resources to either one side. So protecting the Organa estate is the Jedi's #1 priority.
Do the Organas have Jedi protection in their state where they are, like the actual Organas are?
No, they have their own security detail, but they don't have dedicated. I should say they don't have
Jedi.
dedicated protection from the Jedi Temple. You would know that there's at least one Jedi Knight that is assigned to the governor, but that's
Mhm.
not enough to hold off an entire
Sure.
military force.
I just wanted to know if there wasn't any Jedi in there, like present in where they are.
Yeah. Yes, Maticus.
Addendum to the orders that definitely not Chav would give is I've realized that using the vehicle profile of a all-terrain reconnaissance transport, the weapon that it is outfitted with is a forward-mounted heavy repeating blaster, which uses a personal scale, not planetary scale, for damage. So trying to attack another vehicle would not be a advisable thing. So they would be aiming at the support around the vehicles to punch a hole so that somebody with something like a missile tube or thermal detonators could probably take out those vehicles, those droid walkers,
Yeah.
presently.
Which somebody with a lightsaber would be able to deal with that type of resistance for certain.
So you said that we're in a forest, correct?
Correct.
So I'm gonna throw this here because in my school. So this is an idea that I had that I think was like one of the traps that we prepped. Using wire and lightsabers, we actually created a perimeter where there are trees that are actually cut partially at the base, so that you probably wouldn't even need the rope or the wire. They're cut at the base just enough that if the group of Jedi were to use force pushing specific ones, they actually would collapse. And so it would basically function as potentially either falling on the enemy, but also if the enemy has like vehicles, this would literally
them.
create a domino effect. So this would basically be like in advance we would have just basically made cuts on the basis of some of these trees just enough before they start toppling, so that when this happens, we actually have them located in specific distances and to fall in certain directions.
Yeah.
So that these things basically just fall and create an entire section.
Limiting
that's
their
just
ability to maneuver freely. Yeah, I like where your head's at. Okay. Coordinating with the ground forces led by Ego and Kesh in position to provide overwatch and specific targeting.
Yeah, especially if we have sniper people, like the snipers will be find very beneficial if they were to be in vantage points where they actually get view to the areas that get blocked, because then those enemies basically have to pause, and while they're recuperating and figuring out what to do, snipers can take action.
All right, Ego and Kesh, you guys are providing central command essentially. You're giving directions. You're prepping. You're giving real-time updates as to the enemy activity and movement. What would be, Ego, some of your preparation work to prepare the the assault forces for this impending attack?
I think Ego's main thing is bolstering the confidence and the motivation of people in there, and so he is like actively scanning like the eyes and the posturing of the people that are surrounding him, anyone on the communications,
right,
and just to make sure that we are all of a singular mind and purpose.
This unit is has a plethora of accolades under their belt. These guys have been fighting the war front for quite some time, and you have a pretty strong sense of their commitment to the war effort as a whole, and you providing this extra level of motivation. The troops clad in this uniformed white and red armor, very similar to clone trooper armor, with the T-visor and pauldrons and everything. You get a resounding cheer before they all disperse out into their respective units in ambush positions, and the forces are ready. Kesh, you have a sniper team of 3 at your disposal. Utilizing your reconnaissance skills, you guys find a elevated position on the side of a mountain that gets a clear line of sight on this trap that the Jedi Knight elements that were assigned to your unit have set up to help pin the Imperial forces in one spot and basically create a fish in a barrel scenario. What is some of the steps you would take to ensure a successful mission, a successful sniping mission?
Well, this not Kesh sniper commander with a special forces team would take every advantage they can get, because Sith are not Jedi. They go by conquer, by strength, by channeling the dark side. However, they become very single-minded after a while. Inquisitors especially become single-minded, especially if you take away their favorite toy, which is their lightsaber. So, taking a page out of The Mandalorians and how they fought the Jedi way back when, Kesh would outfit his sniper team with 2 different sniper rifles. One is the blaster, the other is a slug thrower.
Interesting.
Because, one, molten lead against a lightsaber, you're still gonna get shocked in the face. And then when they do this and start wiping the molten core off, it's immediately switched to the blaster and aim at the lightsaber itself to turn it off.
Interesting. I like these plans. So, as the forces begin to maneuver into the strike zone, Oho, Rawl, accompanied by a Jedi team of 4 others, up in the canopy above, waiting anxiously as these Sith forces move into position. Kesh, with your sniper team on the mountainside, silhouetted against the horizon. Ego on the comms, steadying the force's nerves. Dove, Rawl, or Dove and Chav, you guys waiting for that initial signal, the felling of trees, before coming around with your heavy repeating blaster, swooping in with your reconnaissance transport. It's like a scene from a movie, as the thunderous cacophony of tree falls hitting the ground, echoing through the forest. The Sith forces halt in position, immediately reaching for their lightsabers, extending into a defensive stance. The Jedi Knights falling simultaneously with the blades raised above their heads. Kesh, you fire, your sniper team fires simultaneously as the Jedi Knights descend upon these unsuspecting Sith. Ego, you give out the command, attack. You all successfully rout the Imperial forces, eliminating key targets, and succeed in preventing the assassination of the Governor Organa. Thank you all, 2B Dicers, for tuning in to tonight's episode of Star Wars Session 0. We'll see you guys next week, Tuesday, for Campaign 2 launch. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night.